Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West, and I'm going to warn you ahead of time that this isn't going to be a flashy video. And that's because it's going to be all about getting over the initial grind that you have to go through before you can start getting some of the more interesting and lucrative bounty hunting missions. And there are basically three types of verified missions when it comes to bounty hunting that'll be available to you right from the start. And they're the Pro Temp Suspect Apprehension, which are player bounties. There's also the Entrenched Bounty, which are bunker missions. And there's the Wanted missions, which are NPC bounties that involve ship-to-ship combat. The Pro Temp player bounties can be among the most challenging and rewarding missions that you could end up doing. And that's because you're going after enemies that could be of any skill level, they could be flying any kind of ship, and they're about as unpredictable as an opponent could get. Unfortunately, these missions could drag out for ridiculous lengths of time, and there's no guarantee that they're not going to be camped out at a space station or an armistice zone. Or even worse, it could be a trap where they're hanging out with a group of fighters that are all waiting for you to come to them. So these missions can be very high risk, high reward, and they can be very fun to do, but they can also potentially be very dangerous. And the one thing about them that you can almost bet on is that they're not going to reliably be fast missions that you're going to be able to quickly knock out one after another. And the entrenched bounties can be a lot more challenging than the mercenary version of the bunker runs for several reasons. And this is going to be one of the most time-consuming versions of this type of mission that you could do. And that's because the autoguns that line the outside of the facility are going to be active. And once you get within about 2.5 kilometers of the place, they'll open fire. And they have the ability to rip your ship to pieces. So in order to avoid this, you have to land outside their range. And I usually stop at roughly about 3 kilometers away just to be on the safe side, and then take a ground vehicle the rest of the way in. And this means that you're going to have to bring a ship that can carry a grav lever or a rover. And otherwise, you're going to have to run the rest of the way to the bunker on foot. And if you do that, then you're going to have to be careful of things like wild packs of Copians that you may encounter along the way. You're also not going to be able to snipe any patrolling enemies that are outside the facility from the safety of your ship because of the station's guns. And it's not going to be a quick trip in and out like the other bunker missions where you can just fly right up to the facility and land, and then when you're done, your ride isn't going to be waiting for you right outside the building. You can try to get a lot closer by landing behind some conveniently placed hills or anything else that obstructs the sentry gun's line of sight. That's not always going to be an option, and it's not going to be easy to find a place like that while it's nighttime. And lastly, you're not going to have any NPC support on these missions like you do with the early mercenary bunker missions. And that's why I recommend sticking to doing the wanted missions. Admittedly, it doesn't pay out very well, but it's not going to be about getting rich. It's about raising your reputation level and fast, and this mission is the best way to do that. And these types of missions are always available. They're going to be all located relatively close to one another, so you're not going to waste a lot of time getting from one mission site to another. The mission parameters only require you to have to take out one ship. And the ships that I ended up having to go up against were an Aurora, an 85X at one time, which is a snub fighter, and a Hull A. So these are not combat vessels, and they're going to have no support. And this means that you can take them on using practically anything all the way down to a starter ship. And I could also jump right to the mission locations. And afterwards, this mission appeared again as soon as I finished the last one, so you can chain them together and knock them out really quickly. And like I said before, you're not going to get rich doing it, but you can get up to the associate tracker level a lot faster than you would if you were focusing on doing the other types of missions. And as soon as I reached it, I saw several more mission types appear, like the Tracker Beginning Permit Certification mission and the 62K version of the Entrenched Bounty mission. And if you find that you don't like doing these missions, or if you just want to get to the next higher reputation level, which is the Tracker level, and start getting that sweet 10% payout bonus, you can keep doing wanted missions until you get there. Well, that should be everything you need to know about the starting bounty hunting missions and how to get past them and onto the next tier level of missions that pay more. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching, and take care.